press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello students, welcome back. Today I would like to discuss about regarding 16th A group elements, what we left the topics. Today we have to discuss, that is already we have to discuss about halides of 16th A group elements, and next one is preparation and properties of ozone and sulfur dioxide, and one more is there, that is oxy acids of sulfur and preparation and properties of sulfuric acid. So today the topic is halides of 16th A group elements. What are the general properties? What are halides? So here 16th A group, elements. Already we finished that hydrides, oxides in last class. Video number 10 it is. So after that halides. So here halides of 16th A group. Halides of 16th A group. Number 1, let us consider oxygen. Oxygen gives only, that is OF2. OF2 is called as oxygen difluoride. Oxygen difluoride. It is called as oxyfluoride, not fluorooxide, because of electronegativity of fluorine is more compared to oxygen. So it is said to be oxyfluoride, OF2 and O2F2. Because of starting element in this group is oxygen only, so oxygen gives OF2 and O2F2. Then what about the rest elements? Rest elements are available in different types, different forms. Those are said to be, number 1 is hexahalides, and second one is tetrahalides, and third one is dihalides, and last one is monohalides. These are the remaining halides: sulfur, selenium, tellurium. What the elements are left in this group? Those are available in the form of hexahalides, tetrahalides, dihalides and monohalides. So what will be the importance and which point we have to more concentrate for entrance? Some points was there in this halides properties, halides category. So what we have to concentrate, and what will be the general information regarding this? Oxygen can gives only two types of halides, one is OF2, second one is O2F2. While going to other elements, they can produce hexahalides, tetrahalides, dihalides, monohalides. So what are hexahalides? Hexahalides, the formula will be written as like this: EX6. Here what is E means? E is element. Which element? 16th A group element, not oxygen. 16th A group element. And X is halogen, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine are said to be halogens. So here EX6. EX6 formula is hexahalides, EX4 tetrahalides, EX2 dihalides. While coming to the last category, this is E2X2. E2X2 is said to be you should if in this formula 2 will be common, then we should write EX. EX is said to be monohalides. All monohalides are in dimeric in nature. Dimer it was E2X2 it is available. So here what will be the information regarding this hexahalides, tetrahalides, dihalides and monohalides. So make a note, my dear students, oxygen gives only one halide, that is OF2 and O2F2. Rest of elements are available in different forms: hexahalides, tetrahalides, dihalides and monohalides. So let us consider what are the remaining halides, how those are available and what will be the hybridization and what about the shape of the molecule. We have to discuss now it is. So here number 1 is hexahalides. So in this hexahalides only fluorides are stable, not chlorides, bromides, iodides are unstable. On that fluorides, sulfur hexafluoride is extremely stable it is. So here you should consider it is SF6, SeF6, TeF6, sulfur hexafluoride, selenium hexafluoride, tellurium hexafluoride. While going to next possibility, SCl6, SeCl6, TeCl6, these are unstable. On this sulfur hexafluoride only stable. Remember this point was very important. Hexahalides, with respect to this hexahalides only fluorides are stable. Fluorides, which fluorides? Hexafluorides are stable due to the steric factors. Due to the steric factors only hexafluorides are stable. On these hexafluorides, sulfur hexafluoride is extremely stable. Sulfur hexafluoride is extremely stable. All are gases. These all are gases, and while discuss about the hybridization, the central atom, let us consider SF6. In SF6, the central atom sulfur undergoes sp3d2 hybridization. sp3d2 hybridization. Make a note, my dear students, this was very important. Hexahalides hybridization is sp3d2. Hexahalides hybridization is sp3d2. Sulfur hexafluoride stable. Sulfur hybridization is sp3d2. And what is the shape of the geometry? It is octahedral. So it is octahedral geometry. What will be the order of the stability? Order of the stability: fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. Fluorides are more stable because due to the small in size. While going down the group, size will be increased. Steric factors will be there. Due to the steric factors, the remaining halides are unstable. Selenium hexachloride unstable, sulfur hexachloride unstable because of size of the chlorine was very large, steric factors. Due to that, sulfur hexafluoride is extremely stable, and in this example it undergoes sp3d2 hybridization and possessing what the shape of the geometry is octahedral geometry. Stability of halides: fluorides, chlorides, bromides and iodides. All hexafluorides are gaseous. All hexafluorides are gaseous. So make a note, my dear students, make a note regarding this hexahalides, very important. All hexahalides undergoes sp3d2 hybridization, octahedral geometry, and the stability of halides: fluorides, chlorides, bromide, iodine, and all hexafluorides are gases. Out of these all examples, SF6 is extremely stable due to the steric factor. And next one is, while going to the second one, tetrahalides. Tetrahalides, you make one important point was there regarding tetrahalides. We expect one question for a competitive point of view. So next one is tetrahalides. So here tetrahalides, general formula I said it is EX4. Let us consider SF4, SeF4 and TeF4. Sulfur tetrafluoride, selenium tetrafluoride, tellurium tetrafluoride. Sulfur tetrafluoride is gas, selenium tetrafluoride is liquid, whereas tellurium tetrafluoride is a solid. Make a note, these 3 points are very important. Sulfur tetrafluoride is a gas, selenium tetrafluoride is liquid, tellurium tetrafluoride is a solid, and the central atoms sulfur, selenium, tellurium undergoes, these atoms undergoes sp3 dehybridization. Very important point. Hybridization of sulfur in SF4. What will be the hybridization of sulfur in SF4 means, that is sp3 dehybridization. sp3 dehybridization. We know that sp3 dehybridization geometry is trigonal bipyramidal. Trigonal bipyramidal. Trigonal bipyramidal means simply we should write, we should draw one triangle like this, and central atom is sulfur. Imagine it is sulfur, and total pairs 5 pairs. On 5 pairs, here 4 bond pairs plus 1 lone pair. 4 bond pairs and 1 lone pair is present in central atom sulfur in SF4 or SeF4 or TeF4. Imagine this is sulfur and this is a lone pair. Imagine, my dear students, this is lone pair and it is fluorine, and this is fluorine, and this is fluorine, and this is also fluorine. These are said to be axial and these are said to be equatorial. So, one of the lone pair is occupied on which position? Equatorial position. Remember, this point was very important. One of the lone pair occupies equatorial position of trigonal bipyramidal shape, and the shape of the molecule is a seesaw shape. Very important, my dear students, make a note, this is very important. Seesaw shape. Seesaw shape means molecule, the atom undergoes sp3 dehybridization with trigonal bipyramidal with 4 bond pairs plus 1 lone pair. 4 bond pairs plus 1 lone pair, assumed that it is said to be seesaw geometry. SF4 seesaw, SeF4 seesaw, TeF4 seesaw, all tetrahalides. Tetrahalides undergoes sp3 dehybridization and geometry of the molecule is seesaw geometry, or we should write 4 bond pairs plus 1 lone pair, that is trigonal bipyramidal with 4 bond pairs plus 1 lone pair, or simply we should write that we should say that geometry is seesaw geometry. Seesaw geometry is possible for tetrahalides. SF4 is gas, SeF4 liquid, TeF4 solid. One of the lone pair occupied, it was what position it is? Equatorial position. So, these are the axial bonds, these are the equatorial bonds. So, according to the hybridization and lone pairs, bond pairs, we have to decide the shape of the molecule is a seesaw shape. And we are going to the dihalides, except selenium. Except selenium, remaining all elements are forms dichlorides and dibromides. And in dihalides, central atom undergoes sp3 hybridization. We know that sp3 hybridization is tetragonal geometry. sp3 hybridization is tetragonal geometry. So, remember this point, dihalides except selenium, remaining elements are ready to form dichlorides, dibromides. The central atom undergoes sp3 hybridization, geometry is tetrahedral. Tetrahedral means according to that, what about that lone pairs, we have to set that 2 bond pairs, 2 lone pairs, that is V shape or angular shape or bent shape, just like as a water molecule like that. Clear it is. So, all dihalides are tetrahedral geometry with 2 bond pairs plus 2 lone pairs, and all dihalides except selenium, remaining all are form dichlorides and dibromides. And next one, last one more point is regarding this, that is monohalides. Monohalides all are available in the form of dimeric. Dimeric means, let us consider the monohalides. Let us consider that monohalides are in dimeric means, so dihalides except selenium remaining form chlorides bromides. And central atom undergoes sp3. Geometry is tetrahedral, 2 bond pairs plus 2 lone pairs. 2 bond pairs plus 2 lone pairs is said to be is bent or V shape or angular shape like that. While coming to the monohalides, monohalides are available in the form of dimeric. Dimeric means example S2F2, S2Cl2, S2Br2 like this, Se2Cl2, Se2Br2. These are said to be monohalides. Monohalides S2F2, S2Cl2, S2Br2, Se2Cl2, Se2Br2. These all are said to be monohalides. These monohalides undergoes disproportionation. Disproportionation. One reaction was there in the text. Once you observe this, Se2Cl2 gives rise to SeCl4 plus Se. Selenium monochloride. Selenium monochloride undergoes disproportionation. Undergoes disproportionation, gives rise to selenium tetrachloride and selenium. In this example, selenium 0 oxidation state, here plus 4 oxidation state, here plus 2 oxidation state, plus 2 to plus 4, plus 2 to 0, one is increasing in oxidation, one more is decreasing in oxidation. So, this is an example for redox disproportionation. The plus 2 is in between 0 to plus 4. The value plus 2 is in between 0 to plus 4. So, monohalides undergoes disproportionation. Monohalides undergoes disproportionation. Just like imagine these are available in the form of H2O2, Na2O2 like that, peroxiform, peroxide type it is, structure it is. So, here dihalides except selenium remaining all are available in the form of chlorides and bromides, and hybridization is sp3 tetrahedral, 2 bond pair with 2 lone pairs. While coming to the monohalides, all monohalides are in dimeric, they undergoes disproportionation. Example, this is one of the simple example, Se2Cl2 disproportionates to SeCl4 plus 3Sc. So, this is about the information regarding halides. Then after that, next one is preparation and properties of dioxygen. Preparation and properties of dioxygen was very important. Important means some reactions we have to concentrate. Some reactions we have to concentrate for intense point of view. Then simple reactions are there. In text also there was given simple equations. So, next one is dioxygen. Molecular formula is O2. Molecular formula is O2. So, dioxygen, we know that oxygen is most abundant element. So, it is 20.946 percentage aggregated to 21% by volume available in atmospheric air, and in earth crust it is 46% by mass. 46% by mass it is available in earth crust, and by volume it is 21%. Oxygen is the most abundant element, and oxygen molecular formula O2, and it is said to be dioxygen. Between two oxygen atoms, one is a sigma bond, one more is pi bond is there. So, it is an example for double bond compound, and in this oxygen molecule total number of electrons is 16 electrons. Total number of electrons 16 electrons. Generally 16 electrons is an example for even number. Even number electrons are exhibit diamagnetism. Instead of that, oxygen is paramagnetic. This point very important, my dear students. Make a note, it is a paramagnetic substance. Oxygen is a paramagnetic substance. What will be the reason? Pi star 2px and pi star 2py. Pi star 2px, pi star 2py consist unpaired electrons due to the presence of unpaired electrons in pi star 2px and pi star 2py. Pi star 2px1, pi star 2py1 according to the molecular orbital theory. According to the molecular orbital theory, pi star 2px and pi star 2py consist of an unpaired electron for each. Due to this reason, even 16 electrons even number, it is paramagnetic substance. It is paramagnetic substance. And this oxygen is available in 3 isotopes. One is O16, second one is O17, third one is O18. 3 isotopes will be there, O16, O17, O18. Majority is O16, and this O18 is said to be radioactive isotope. It is radioactive isotope. It is radioactive isotope O18, and O16 majority percentage 99% is 99% of oxygen is available in the form of O16 isotope only. O18 is radioactive isotope. So it is available in 3 isotopes, and between 2 oxygen atoms, one is sigma bond is there, second one is pi bond is there, overlapping of p orbitals, partial overlapping, formation of pi bond takes place. To break the double bond, we required some energy, that is 435.3 kilojoules per mole energy we required. 430 is nearly 435 kilojoules energy to break the bond. To break the bond, it is not an easy thing. To break the bond, we supply some energy is nearly 435 kilojoules. So under ordinary conditions, oxygen is inert because of presence of double bond. If you supplied heat or you supplied energy, then cleavage takes place, then it becomes atomic oxygen. This atomic oxygen is more reactive, and it is react with other elements to gives we know that is oxides. That is said to be, if it is reacts with metal, it gives metal oxides. React with non-metals, gives non-metal oxides. It reacts with compounds, it oxidizes. Oxidizes act as oxidizing. So it supplies oxygen. It supplies oxygen. So here oxygen is available in 2 forms. One is diatomic oxygen. One more is also there, that is triatomic, that is ozone. Those are 2 will be there. One is a diatomic, dioxygen. Triatomic is called as ozone. So here, my dear students, remember these are the general information regarding this. In atmospheric air it was 21% by volume, by mass it is 46% by mass it is, and oxygen contains 16 number of electrons. 16 number of electrons is an example for even number of electrons. Generally even number of examples are undergoes diamagnetic substance. Instead of that, oxygen exhibit paramagnetic behavior due to the presence of 2 unpaired electrons, which are pi star 2px and pi star 2py according to molecular orbital theory. And one more point is regarding this, oxygen is available in 3 isotopes. One is O16, second one is O17, third one is O18. Majority is O16, and O18 is said to be a radioactive isotope, and it is used to the reaction mechanism in organic chemistry. In organic chemistry, what reactions, how that reactions are takes place, we have to justify it with the O18 isotope. So here, what are the preparations? What are the preparations and properties of the oxygen, and what about the use? We have to discuss now. So here, preparation, properties and uses of dioxin. Preparations, many preparations are there, and here we have to focus some important general, many preparations are there. Many preparations means, let us consider this equation. KMnO4 gives rise to K2MnO4 plus MnO2 plus O2. See this reaction, my dear students. 2KMnO4. What is 2KMnO4? Potassium permanganate. Decomposition. Oxygen rich compounds, these are oxygen rich compounds. 2K or oxygen rich salts, like that we said oxygen rich salts. And decomposition. Potassium permanganate. Potassium permanganate and decomposes. Gives rise to what? Potassium manganate. This is, my dear students, make a note, this is potassium manganate. Potassium manganate, and it is manganese dioxide, and liberate which gas? Oxygen gas. This is one of the simple preparation. Decomposition of potassium permanganate. Decomposition of potassium permanganate gives rise to potassium manganate. Potassium manganate formula is K2MnO4 and manganese dioxide MnO2, and liberate which gas? Oxygen gas. And then we are going to discuss about that laboratory method. What will be the preparation? How to prepare dioxin in lab? Simple, it is decomposition of KClO3. What is KClO3? Make a note, my dear students, this is called as potassium chlorate. Potassium chlorate. Decomposition of potassium chlorate. Potassium chlorate molecular formula is KClO3. This reaction not takes place at ordinary conditions. This reaction requires some external support. What will be the external support? The external support name is MnO2. MnO2 is act as catalyst. MnO2 decrease the melting point of KClO3. MnO2 act as catalyst and decrease the melting point of KClO3, and potassium chlorate on decomposition. Chlorates on decompose gives rise to KCl plus O2. KCl plus O2. See this reaction, my dear students. 2 KClO3 gives rise to 2 KCl plus 3 O2. Oxygen will be liberated. This method is used in the laboratory process. In the laboratory, how oxygen is prepared? How oxygen was prepared means simple. Potassium chlorate, a sample of potassium chlorate is taken into a beaker and decompose, heat the substance. That reaction is not takes place at ordinary conditions. Due to that reason, you required a catalyst, the external support, that is manganese dioxide. Manganese dioxide, what it was doing, it is doing as a catalyst and decreasing that melting point of the potassium chlorate. While doing this reaction, during this reaction, which gas is liberated? Oxygen liberated, dioxin. Actually, this dioxin was first introduced by the scientist name is Scheele. He done with the mercuric oxide decomposition. Mercuric oxide decompose. Mercuric oxide decompose. The scientist name is Scheele. On the basis of first introduced in 1774. It is in 1774. Oxygen was introduced by the scientist named Scheele by thermal decomposition of mercuric oxide. It is mercuric oxide. So here, this is the laboratory preparation. Laboratory means this is general preparation. General preparation is potassium permanganate decompose gives rise to potassium manganate, manganese dioxide, dioxin. What will be the laboratory preparation of dioxin means we should go through this. 2 KClO3 gives rise to 2 KCl plus 3 O2. Reaction takes place in the presence of MnO2. MnO2 act as catalyst. MnO2 act as decreasing the melting point of KClO3. And which gas is liberated? Dioxin liberated. And who was the first introduced that oxygen? The scientist named Scheele in 1774 by thermal decomposition of mercuric oxide. And some more preparations also there. What are the some more preparations? Some rich oxides will be there. Some rich oxides. Rich oxides means let us consider from oxides. From oxides, let us consider Pb3O4. Pb3O4 is said to be mixed oxide. It is mixed oxide, and decomposition of Pb3O4 gives rise to PbO plus O2. So 4 is 8, 6 plus 8. See, clear. 2 Pb3O4 gives rise to PbO plus O2. Liberate which gas? Dioxin gas. HgO, thermal decomposition of mercuric oxide gives rise to Hg plus O2. 2HgO gives rise to 2Hg plus O2. And decomposition of H2O2. H2O2, you know that hydrogen peroxide. H2O2 is called as hydrogen peroxide. This reaction also takes place in the presence of MnO2. This reaction also takes place in the presence of MnO2, formation of dioxygen and water molecule. Decomposition of hydrogen peroxide, 2H2O2 gives rise to 2H2O plus O2. 2HgO gives rise to Hg plus O2. Pb3O4 gives rise to PbO plus O2. Ag2O gives rise to Ag plus O2. Silver oxide and decompose gives rise to silver plus dioxygen. So these are the one more preparation regarding this dioxygen. So it is said to be from oxides, mixed oxides, different type of oxides also. So Ag2O gives rise to Ag plus O2. Like these all are belongs to oxide category, and it is laboratory preparation. 2 KClO3 and decomposition gives rise to 2 KCl plus 3 O2, and general preparation 2 KMnO4 gives rise to K2MnO4 plus MnO2 plus O2. So, my dear students, make a note. This was very important, laboratory preparation. Which are the method we can use it to the preparation of dioxin in the laboratory? So, they will give you this one, this one, this one, this one. 4 examples. Out of 4 options, which is right? Potassium chlorate. Decomposition of potassium chlorate gives rise to dioxygen. Decomposition of potassium chlorate gives rise to dioxygen. And these are not sufficient methods to prepare dioxygen on large scale. Then what to do? We required more amount of oxygen on large scale. How it was prepared on large scale means only 2 methods was there. One is from air, second one is from water. Water we know that electrolysis. Electrolysis of water will get anode hydrogen, cathode is oxygen. And from air, liquefaction of air. Air was in gaseous state. Then what to do? We have to apply some pressure, decrease the temperature, apply pressure, then air undergoes phase transformation. Phase transformation means gaseous to liquid. The CO2 gas, the water vapors, what the present in atmospheric air will be separated out. So, liquefaction of air followed by fractional distillation. My dear students, this point was very, very important. Make a note, my dear children, make a note. Industrially or large scale, on large scale, how to prepare dioxin means from air, and second one is from water. Water means electrolysis. Electrolysis of water will get hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen evolved at anode, oxygen is cathode. While going to the air, what will be the process of air? Liquefaction of air. Liquefaction of air means under conditions. What are the conditions? Pressure conditions, temperature conditions. Pressure conditions, temperature conditions, then we can liquefy that air. While liquefy that air, first water molecules and carbon dioxide will be separated out, and majority of air contains nitrogen gas and dioxygen gas, nearly 70-20s like that percentage will be available in that atmospheric air. So, gas will be liquefied. So, on large scale it is, on large scale from air, so air what they are doing? Liquefied. Liquefied, it becomes what it is? Liquid. Air under conditions, what are the conditions? Pressure and temperature. Pressure condition and temperature conditions, you can apply some conditions, then liquefaction of air. Air becomes liquid. After liquid, then what we are doing? Fractional distillation. Fractional distillation. Fractional distillation, one of the process was there in organic chemistry, some techniques. So, fractional distillation. So, already while doing this process, majority of water molecules will be separated out and carbon dioxide also separated out, and majority portion is one is oxygen is will be there, second one is nitrogen is there. Nitrogen boiling temperature 77 Kelvin and oxygen boiling temperature 90 Kelvin. First oxygen liquid. So, liquefaction of air followed by fractional distillation. We can separate oxygen from nitrogen with respect to the temperature. Temperature is 77 kelvins for nitrogen, 90 kelvins for oxygen. Clear it is. My dear students, make a note, this was very, very important. This process is on large scale industrially. On large scale preparation of oxygen from air. And second one more is also there, that is second one is from water. That is process is called as electrolysis and acidified water, or you should add some acid, decomposition of water, H2 plus O2. It is cathode, this is anode. At cathode hydrogen gas will be liberated, dihydrogen gas. At anode dioxygen gas liberated, reaction takes place in the presence of a little amount of salt or little amount of acid initiating the reaction. Reaction initiated by the acid or reaction initiated by that salt. Clear it is. So, these are the preparations. In laboratory, decomposition of potassium chlorate. On large scale, from air or from electrolysis of water. From air, what will be the process? Liquefaction of air followed by fractional distillation. The temperature differences between nitrogen and oxygen is 77 kelvins and 90 kelvins. Then we can separate oxygen first. Clear it is. and electrolysis of water. Water on electrolysis in the presence of a little amount of acid initiator, and at hydrogen liberated anode and oxygen liberated cathode. So this dioxin gas, colorless gas, tasteless gas, odorless gas, colorless, tasteless, odorless, and it is soluble in water. Dioxin is soluble in water. So here make a note, my dear students, dioxin is soluble in water. Suppose if you consider 100 volumes of water, 100 volumes of water, if 100 volumes of water is there, if 100 volumes of water is there, 100 volumes of water, 100 volumes water contain 3.08 volumes of oxygen. It is a less amount where it is. For 100 parts, the solubility of dioxin only 3 parts. These 3 parts only sufficient for aquatic species it is. Clear it is respiration. Aquatic species it is, these 3 parts only sufficient. So 100 parts of water contains 3.08 parts of dioxin solubility. This was the solubility, and dioxin is odorless, dioxin is colorless, dioxin is tasteless, and boiling temperature is 90 kelvins. So here what will be the chemical properties? Some chemical properties are there regarding this dioxygen. When dioxin reacts with metals, dioxin reacts with non-metals, dioxin reacts with compounds. So here let us discuss about chemical properties regarding this. Chemical properties of dioxygen. Chemical properties of dioxygen. So number 1, with metals. Here you make a note, my dear students, except gold, platinum, noble gases. Make a note this point, you should underline in your NCERT text. In your NCERT textbook, you should underline this point, except silver, platinum and noble gases. Remaining all metals are combined with oxygen to give rise to oxides. So here metal plus oxygen gives rise to metal oxide, Ca plus O2, CaO, Mg plus O2, MgO. Clear it is. Calcium combined with oxygen gives rise to calcium oxide. Magnesium combined with oxygen gives rise to magnesium oxide. Combination of oxygen is nothing but combustion it is. These are our exothermic reactions, because already I said between 2 oxygen atoms double bond is there. To break the bond we require some energy. So reactions not takes place at ordinary conditions. It requires some initiation at some external support. It requires some external support, then it combines with calcium, gives rise to calcium oxide. Magnesium gives rise to magnesium oxide. Potassium gives rise to potassium oxide, sodium oxide, aluminum oxide. Al plus O2 gives rise to Al2O3. 4Al plus, right, okay. Fe plus O2 gives rise to Fe2O3, ferric oxide. Rust it is, ferric oxide is called as rust. Aluminum oxide, magnesium oxide, calcium oxide, all are oxides, metal oxides. Transition metal oxides are also there, alkaline metal oxides, alkaline earth metal oxides, cesium oxide, rubidium oxide, strontium oxide, barium peroxide, all are category 1. Category 1 means reaction with metals. This is general reaction, metal plus oxygen gives rise to metal oxide. But here what will be the exception? Exception with respect to the gold, platinum and noble gases. Gold, platinum and noble gases are not reacts with dioxin. While going to the non-metals, reaction with non-metals, second one. So what is the equation? Non-metal plus oxygen gives rise to non-metal oxide. Non-metal plus oxygen gives rise to non-metal oxide. What are the reactions? See this. P4 plus O2 gives rise to P4O10. C plus O2 gives rise to CO2, carbon dioxide. C plus O2 gives rise to CO, carbon monoxide, partial combustion, complete combustion. S plus O2 gives rise to SO2. See this, Cl2 plus O2 gives rise to Cl2O7, chlorine heptoxide. Chlorine heptoxide. These all are said to be category 2 reactions with non-metals. Non-metal plus dioxide gives rise to non-metal oxide. Metal plus dioxide gives rise to metal oxide. Whatever the substance was there, you should add oxygen to that it gives that corresponding binary compound that is oxide. H2 plus O2 H2O. H2 plus O2 H2O2. Here it is. You should add hydrogen. Why you are taking this sulfur like this? H2 plus O2 gives rise to H2O. Same H2 plus O2 gives rise to H2O2. So these all are said to be non-metal oxide reactions. So oxygen reacts with metal to give rise to metal oxides, non-metals to give rise to non-metal oxides. And this oxygen again reacts with some other compounds. Other compounds means those are said to be oxidation reactions. Addition of oxygen is called as oxidation reaction. Other compounds means let us consider some more reactions are there. So these general reactions, these all are simple, easy to practice it is. These are the basic fundamentals of inorganic chemistry. So here some other compounds, third one, other compounds. See this, SO2 gas plus O2 gas gives rise to SO3 gas. Oxidation of sulfur dioxide. Oxidation of sulfur dioxide gives rise to sulfur trioxide. We know that 4NH3 plus O2 gives rise to 4NO plus 6H2O. Reaction takes place in the presence of platinum asbestos acid. Oxidation of ammonia. Already this reaction is familiar with us because of it was discussed in the 15th A group elements. Preparation of nitric acid by which method is Ostwald method. Ostwald method, this only the starting step it is. Reaction takes place in the presence of platinum asbestos. Platinum in reaction requires temperature and pressure. Oxidation of ammonia 4NH3. Oxidation of ammonia 4NH3 liberate which gas it is? Nitric oxide, NO, and formation of water molecules. CS2 plus O2 gives rise to CO2 plus SO2. CO2 plus SO2. Carbon disulfide. Carbon disulfide combined with oxygen gives rise to carbon dioxide plus SO2. HCl plus O2 gives rise to H2O plus Cl2. HCl plus oxidation of hydrochloric acid. Oxidation of hydrochloric acid liberate dichlorine gas. So HCl plus 2HCl. So 4HCl plus O2 gives rise to 2H2O plus Cl2. So these are said to be other reactions. Oxygen reacts with other compounds also. Oxygen acts as oxidizing agent. Oxidation of sulfur dioxide, oxidation of ammonia, combustion of carbon disulfide, combustion. In combustion, it liberates what it is? CO2. And see this, CH4 plus O2, CO2 plus H2O. combustion of hydrocarbon. Combustion of hydrocarbon. 224. See this, my dear students. Combustion of hydrocarbons liberate what gas? Carbon dioxide gas and water molecules. So these are said to be what reactions? Exothermic reactions. In exothermic reaction, delta H value is negative. Exothermic reaction, delta H value is negative. So these are the combustion reactions, oxidation reactions. Oxygen reacts with metals, gives metal oxides. Oxygen reacts with non-metals, gives non-metal oxides. Oxygen reacts with other compounds to give rise to oxidation reactions. So reaction with metals, reaction with non-metals, reaction with other compounds and preparations and physical properties of dioxide. So we discussed this, and now what are the uses means what are the uses? Oxygen is used as welding purpose by cutting tools and making tools. It is combined with oxyhydrogen or oxyacetylene. Oxyhydrogen or oxyacetylene flame. This flame can be used as welding section. In welding section, in welding department, oxyacetylene flame or oxyhydrogen flame we are using in welding section, that is cutting tools, hard metals. Cutting hard metals by using this flame, because of it generate nearly 2000 degrees centigrade temperature it is. And liquid oxygen is used as a fuel. Liquid oxygen is used as a fuel, and in some impurities in metallurgical process. In metallurgical process we are using oxygen because of to remove some impurities. To remove some impurities means suppose the particular metal contains some impurity, sulfur is there, selenium is there, phosphorus is there. Then once you flow the oxygen, then sulfur will be evolved in the form of sulfur dioxide, selenium oxides and phosphorus pentoxide. So in metallurgical process also it will be used to remove some impurities, and liquid oxygen is used as a rocket fuel, and main is oxyhydrogen torch or oxyacetylene torch. Torch, or it is also called as flame, is used as in welding section, and the 3.08% of oxygen is sufficient for aquatic species. So such type of examples, such type of uses you should read in your text, and this oxygen is available in two forms, three forms. Those are said to be isotopes O16, O17, O18, and O18 is a radioactivity isotope. Between two oxygen atoms double bond is there, one is sigma bond, second one is pi bond. Itself it can form p-pi bonds, and to break the bond it required 435 kilojoules per mole energy, and due to the if it was not ready to participate in chemical reaction, so to participate in chemical reactions we required some energy to break the bond. Then it will be divided into atomic oxygen. That atomic oxygen is highly reactive, and it is reacts with all elements to form oxides, metal oxides, non-metal oxides, and different type of products we will get with respect to the reactants. So this is about dioxin, and one more is there, that is sulfur dioxide, followed by ozone, preparation and properties of sulfur dioxide and ozone, and oxyacids of sulfur, followed by sulfuric acid. These four topics are remaining, and we required still 4 classes to completion of this 16th year group. So stay with us, be confident, practice the reactions what we discussed, and read the NCERT. Utilize the time. You have to utilize this time to practice the equations and thorough the NCERT, and after completion of the content better to practice competitive bits, that will be useful. Then these are the simple guidelines to improve your skills. Be confident. Stay with us. Stay safe.